Okay. Let's wait for more people to come on board, and we are live. Hey, guys. This is e-Ananse live book reading sessions. We're waiting for you guys to come on board. I'm here with the renowned author, poet, spoken word artist, the one and only Oswald Okaitei, right? So let's just wait for a few more people to come online. I see someone online on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Okay, so it's exactly 2 p.m. If you just join us, this is the e-Ananse live readings. It used to be on only Instagram, but now we are coming to you via all our social media platforms. My name is Roxanne, and you are welcome. So today, okay, okay, okay. So before we continue with the today's reading, I'd like to introduce to you our guest. I'll read a brief bio of him. Then after that, we'll carry on with what we have for you today. Let's want people to come on board. More people come in on Instagram. Yes. Hi. Yep. Let's just wait a bit for more people to come in. When we do that. Okay. Okay, so I think I'll just go ahead. Now, a little bit about our author, our guest today. His name is Oswald Okaitei. He's a multi-award winning young Ghanaian poet, spoken word artist, and a playwright. He's currently a world poetry director in Ghana and has 8 poetry collections to his credit. As one of the finest and promising fresh breaths to poetry and spoken word, he has shared performing platforms with poetry, spoken word legends such as Prophet, Professor Tukwe Okai, Professor Kofi Anidobu, Muta Baruka, Rocky Dawuni, among others. He is noted to be transforming classical poems into, sorry about that, classical poems into stage drama, having strange different theme poems of Professor Lade Wosunu, Professor Kofi Awuno, Professor Kofi Anidowu, and Dr. Mauli Ajay, to the admiration of several audiences. Oswald represented Ghana at the 2016 Story Moja Festival in Kenya and Babishai Poetry Festival in Uganda. In 2016, he was adjudged the Pan-African Poet Spoken Word Artist of Ghana. So if you just join us, you're welcome once again to today's live reading with e-Ananse Library. Our guest, as I mentioned, is none other than the poetry, the spoken word artist, and the renowned poet Oswald Okaitei. Now, so today we are going to look at a piece or two from this book. It's a collection of poems and short stories by our guest. It's called COVID-19 Verses and Tragedy. So, Oswald, you're welcome.
Thank you.
How are you faring? How has the COVID-19 been treating you?
Well, I've always said there's light in every night, so I was able to discover the light in the night.
Right.
In every misfortune, there's fortune.
Right.
So I gathered my eyes to focus on the fortune.
Wow, poetic. Everything he's saying is even poetic. So now this book, how many stories does it contain? How many pieces?
Well, this has 19 poems.
Okay.
Of course, remind the world about the COVID-19.
Mm.
And I did one short story.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I am one of the offspring among the short stories writers.
Right.
And I was bred during the COVID-19 lockdown.
Right.
I think I found the right residence in the COVID-19 lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
So I did 3 books during the lockdown, right from the
Mm-hmm.
recording of the case and through to this very current time. I was able to
Right.
do 3 books. This is the first of it. That's COVID-19 Verses and Tragedy, and I did the lockdown tales. But the lockdown tales has 3 short stories put
Okay.
together.
Okay.
And so this one has 1 short story and then 19 poems. And this
Wow.
is supposed to be a reference
So like
point.
that's 20 pieces in there.
20 pieces in this one. Yes, and then the last one is for children.
Wow. So how long did it take for you to complete this? Because this is a lot of work, and we've just been in lockdown for like less than 2 months.
Yes,
So
usually my way of venting is by writing.
okay.
So if you look at the themes I use, one I wanted to talk about how the whole thing came about
Yeah.
from Wuhan,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had to look at the pathogenicity of the disease,
Okay.
the effect and impact,
Okay.
and then I had to look at the hope.
Right.
And then the very last thing that came on board has got to do with stigma. So the last poem in this one was got to do with stigma. So
Right.
the poems were just to touch on themes that have got correlations with the
Right.
pandemic.
I really like the fact that you are touching on stigma, because one thing I have been really thinking of after all this is over is the stigma that is going to remain, and that is going to be a whole different pandemic on its own. The stigma, the aftermath of COVID-19. So guys, if you just join us, you are live at e-Ananse live readings. My name is Roxanne. I'm joined with our guest Oswald Okaitei. He's a poet and a spoken word artist. Today we are going to treat 1 or 2 of his pieces. He's made a collection of poems and a book called COVID-19 Verses and Tragedy. So, what are we going to do today? What piece are we taking today?
Of course, the most important now is the one on stigma. And this I chose to title "Let Me Go."
Let Me Go. What page is that?
Okay.
Well,
yeah. This is the last. That should be the last one.
Okay, I've seen it. Yes, Let Me Go. Okay.
That's the last one for this story.
Okay.
And with me, I sing with my poems.
Right.
Coming for to carry me home. At my graveyard, you have come with hearts of grief, sorrows that shall only be brief, and eyes of tears. But it's late. I am gone, long gone. So please let me go. I have no nose to smell the sweet scented rose plunge up upon my tongue, nor eyes to see the tears streaming down the hills of your cheeks. I have no ear for the words you may speak for me to hear, and no more life to live to forgive your looked down strife. I am gone, long gone, so please let me go. If we may again have to cross paths after the end of this world, if we may again have to meet eye to eye in the world here beyond, Reverend, may it be. But for now, save yourself the tears and roses. I am gone, long gone, so please let me go. Long before the day was over, you could have saved me from this rectangular cove of heat under earth. You could have hailed my victory over this COVID foe every man fears and saved your eyes these tears. You could have chosen to make me lead a crusade to end the facade this COVID has brought to you, me, and our race. But you chose otherwise. To make me look like a scarecrow amongst you, rejected, dejected, neglected, stigmatized. You spat on me, raised your voice at me, kept me in your ostracism songs, and tagged me a beast. Because I survived Korokoro's venom, you hung me with a rope of stigma in the open, and slowly you slew me to death. And now, here you stand by my tomb, with bouquet of roses and unceasing tears, wishing for the impossible, that I shouldn't have withered. But I am sorry. It is late, very late. Brethren, I am gone. So please let me from here peacefully go. You have the heroes over COVID craving for your life to live. Give it to them.
Wow, when I read this, first of all, I felt sad in a way, and I don't know, for some reason I felt guilty because I felt the voice was, I don't know, it could be different, but as a reader I was hearing the voice of a survivor of corona who died.
Sure.
Yes, so it's like when he or she was with the affliction or the disease, there was, or when he survived from the disease, there was stigma, but now he actually died from the stigma, not the disease.
Not a disease.
So this is very positive.
No, well, there's a difference between writing a short story
Yeah.
or writing normal novel, novella, and a
Mhm.
poem. In poetry, you need to kind of economize words,
Mhm.
put in the emotion, the thoughts, and ideas,
Right.
and yet pass a message.
Mhm.
And so, the question I asked is the worst end of this stigma will be death.
Yeah.
And then that's when we tend to show the hypocrisy.
Mm.
And so it's not just because of the COVID, but in general life, you see a lot of people try to mourn the gone. When in natural time, they could have helped save situation. So you could see the first thing I wrote, you could have saved me long before the day was over. You could have saved me from this rectangular cove of heat and earth. I was just talking about the grave.
Yeah.
That rectangular cove under the heat. We have almost the opportunity to save people from dying.
Yeah.
Why do we have to wait till death? Now, these are people who have been able to survive this enemy we all fear.
Right.
Why don't we hail them as heroes? Why would we rather want to stigma and then make them feel as though they are not part of human, make them look like scarecrows?
You
Then in
know,
the end, running to go and show them.
let me play the devil's advocate here a bit. So, don't you think that people may be stigmatizing survivors of the virus because of fear? I know it's not an excuse because I mean this pandemic has caused a lot of fear and panic, right? So, and it's a virus, we can't really see it. So if you, I know definitely, well, you had the virus and now you tell me you don't have the virus, how am I going to gather the courage to live a normal life with you? You know, don't you think the fear is greater?
Of course, for lack of knowledge, my people perish. So you know, ignorance has always been
Yeah.
a serious pandemic anyway.
Right.
But while my focus, the focal point for this poem has gone to the target audience of those who are aware that, of course, if the person is able to recover, the person has come back to life,
Right.
to be amongst us and yet go ahead. Well, we may not so much blame those who are not aware of course. Then we have to blame those who need to disseminate information
Right.
to let them understand that once a person is over with this very disease, the person is welcome to our life. We only say let's stay away from ourselves. You know, there's alienization because in this very pandemic, it is the saying has changed.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be together we stand, divided we fall, but now
Yes.
divided we stand, together we fall.
Yes. And I'm thinking, even the stigma that is going to come after this will not be from people who survived the disease. It's going to be from all of us because whether you had the disease or not, I think greeting will change. You know, because today I saw some people and I wanted to hug them. I'm like, oh, I can't hug you, you know, because of corona. So the lifestyle is going to change. And I think this piece is, I don't know, a caution to ask, because when I read it, I felt a little guilty because I'm like, yeah, I can see myself doing this, you know, out of fear. I could stay away from someone who is then suddenly they'll die, and then guilt and regrets will come in, and I want to, you know, mourn the person.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I understand. So when you look at it, you know, some of the issues you raise here in the poem, talk of the fact that we need to fight together and then not hugging. There's a reason why we are not hugging. And then one of the poems I said till then.
Right.
So then, for example, so then I keep saying that for now we can't hug, we can't kiss, we can't hold arms.
Let's look at till then. What page is that?
Well, this is a new one, so I'm not so.
Oh, it's new. Okay, fine, that's fine. But you can tell us what's about.
Okay, till then, that is it.
Okay.
But this night of grief and sorrow, one day, tomorrow, today, shall wither, and we shall rise again to a new sunbirth. One day, today or tomorrow, this umbra of fears and panic throwing us around like a piece of leaf in the arms of wind. This raging storm of virus devouring us and racing our turns and sweeping away our joy, our bravery, and our brotherliness. This merciless corona spitting death venom at all and sundry. One day, just one day, it shall wither, and then wane. And then, at the birth of new sun, we shall return home, shake hands, hug ourselves, and kiss again. Till then, we are at war against one common foe, the novel COVID-19.
Yeah.
And these we must fight and win together.
Till then, that seems so far away. Can you estimate how long do you think this is going to end?
I'm a human biologist by training from university.
Okay.
So I know more virology, I know about vaccines, I know about bacteriology and almost all of that.
Right.
And it takes about 18 months to work on almost all of this. And so,
wow, that's a year and a half.
Of course, so we keep pushing. The world all over, the scientists are doing their best to beat that deadline. But just because we are in despair.
Right.
We try everything to do. Almost when we keep hearing like in 6 months we're able to do that, is a way to tap ourselves and console ourselves.
Right.
But in reality, if you are looking at that standard in 18 months, well, we don't know. So till we are able to see that new sunrise, well, we have to adhere to these rules.
Right.
Okay, now I see you, have to wave with you, I can't come close to you.
Yeah.
Now when you cough, long before COVID-19,
yeah.
And maybe when you sneeze, you say good luck.
Now when you cough,
when you sneeze, say, what did you do?
Like when you call, like, hey, please move away from me,
Yeah, so this is the new order we find ourselves in. Let's deal with it.
Yes.
But one day, when the new sun comes, you're going to come back to normal life.
Right.
And then, of course, it's going to be a more renewed life.
Yeah.
So that's
it's going to be a more renewed life. So, guys, we are live at e-Ananse live reading sessions with poet and spoken word artist Oswald Okaitei. So we are reviewing some of his poems. We've read "Let Me Go." We've read "Till Then." It's a collection of poems in a book he calls "COVID-19 Verses and Tragedy," written and published by Oswald. And then, so where can we get? Before we continue, where can we get these copies if people want to buy?
They're not going to get into the market, but now they're going to get into Amazon because it's supposed to be a global.
Right, so it's on Amazon.
It's going to be on Amazon. Okay. This one just came out not too long ago.
Okay.
So just went through its editing and then the forward and everything.
Yeah.
So these are first of the copies we are even having here. And by next week they're going to be out and then we're going to.
So before we continue, I'm curious. I want to get personal. So before you said you were a human biologist, so how did you get into poetry and literature?
So
why the love for literature?
Well, Pastor Lados will tell you, science is art and art is science.
Yes.
There's an invisible line between them. But then being a poet is by calling. I didn't go to school to learn.
Okay.
It's a calling, and as I mentioned earlier, it's a way by which I vent. If I want to speak to issues, I'm able to code the emotions, the thoughts, and ideas into words, and then put them out. So that's the way I can vent.
Yes.
So not just this one. When Mandela passed on, I was able to come out with 27 poems because Mandela spent 27 years in prison. When my first book, what really brought me to the limelight was the book I did for the late Professor Kofi Awuno.
Yes.
I read to Awuno.
Right.
I can't remember the number of poems. And in fact, that was the opening of the floodgate for me.
Wow.
I just had to see that all the things I needed to say, no one was anyway going to hear me. I had to just put them on the paper.
Yes.
And so I kept putting it there, and that is it.
Right.
So I'm able to put poems together. This is not even just.
This is a tip of the iceberg.
It's just about 90 poems I did. Then, like
I
mentioned,
19 is not just within 2 months or a month. 19 is a lot.
No, when a muse falls on you and you have things to talk about, sometimes you want to write a poem because the muse is not on you. You don't even know what to say. Poetry is a language.
Yeah.
So if you have nothing to say, what do you say?
Yeah.
But once there's something for you to say, you're going to write.
Yeah.
And I am very emotional. I'm very sensitive to things around me. So once I feel I have to speak to this, I write.
That's
true. So,
I will talk later about what writers or people in the literary space, what's their role they can play in a time like this. We'll talk about that later. But before that, I would like to take some comments from our audience on Instagram. So Nanaya Forever, thanks for joining us. High School Society, Pesty. So Nanaya said, we are at war against COVID-19, which I agree. Uh, I believe COVID has taught us a lot of lessons, especially to keep oneself safe and practice hygiene. It's true, this is something that we've been doing all our life. They've been telling us. I remember, I don't speak Ga, but then I remember in JSS, they tell us to brush our teeth twice. They call Teshile shoulder, Koya or Beke shoulder, wash your hands and stuff. Now it has become a new trend, but then it's always been with us, and personal hygiene is becoming popular. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
We also have a comment from Gerald Puffy. He says, indeed, the world has taken a new dimension in being alive. So do you think that the world is going to return to how it used to be after this?
I have a point here.
You have a point to address that. Okay.
Centenary visit of night.
Hey.
The 1720 Marcel plague, the 1820 Asia cholera, the 1920 Spanish flu, and now the 2021 corona. Going and coming every century, spirit of centenary night, will you go and come no more?
Yeah.
Every century you come disguised in a new form, never with sweet touch, but with nightmare that tears the earth to the folds.
Yeah.
Going and coming every century, centenary visit of night, go and find not a gate to this life anymore. Going and coming every century, spirit of centenary night, will you go and come no more? Every 10 bundle of decades, you come but to break the holding of mankind and leave them in despair.
Right.
Going and coming every century, centenary visit of night, go and find not the gate to this life anymore. Going and coming every centenary, the spirit of every centenary night, will you go and come no more? Every century they say you come with a light to end, with a night to end an order, and in your departure, new sunrise for a new power. Exactly what you mentioned.
Yeah.
But if you have to, let me end it here. If you have to look at the first stanza, I mentioned the 1720 Marcel plague. That was a pandemic.
Yes.
And in 100 years later, in 1820, there was Asia cholera, another pandemic. And then came the Spanish flu, 1920, 100 years after. And then 100 years after, we have the 2021. And so it's always
So in the next 100 years, what are we expecting?
So that's what I say, will you go and come over? So in the very last time, that we are praying, please go and come no more.
But then now, from your analysis, do you think they will go and not come no more? Like, because it's a pattern. It's a pattern.
So I said, what going and coming every century, spirit of centenary night, whether a myth or periodic oscillation of your existence. So for now, I don't know if there's going to be a myth, maybe it's going to end, or maybe it is. That is how it's supposed to be. The world is programmed to be by God. We can't tell. So there is a fact that anytime these pandemics come in the end, when there's a
I truly really appreciate how you as a writer have taken upon yourself to educate the public or to bring to our minds the patterns and how we can, tune in and prepare for what's coming. So what do you think? I mean, you are already doing it, but as a collective of, creatives and writers, what is your main role and how can writers or people in the creative space, set a legacy or set,
No, the stark reality is that, like I mentioned in some of the interviews I attended, around this time, the role of the artists come to bear.
Yeah.
Especially wanting people to be indoors.
Okay.
How do you engage them?
Okay.
And that is when, like in Kenya, I realized they gave some time to make the creative artist do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But as writers, we are not just writers for writers' sake. We are supposed to, I don't know how to put it, quote certain things in history. Some are just there to do fiction. We have roles to play. But around this time, if you are someone who writes love poems, you have a way to write love poems or life fictions about this, just to encourage someone. If you are that person who is a revolutionarist, maybe there is something revolutionary we need to talk about. You pick it up and then let your voice be heard. One thing you have to understand is we are voices of the voiceless. It may be that I've just written this just coming to me. It may not necessarily be my problem.
Yes.
But someone takes it, reads it, and it's like, this is what I can associate with. So this is the time we need to speak out. Our pen should speak louder than just on the page.
Because I also believe that writers are like the custodian of our culture and heritage.
Of life.
Yes, of our life. Because
Right.
if it wasn't written, how would you come to learn about it? You know.
Sure. I know. So like a writer can pick you up, kill you in a book.
Yeah.
A writer can decide to make you live forever.
Writers are like close to God. Isn't
Yeah, they are creators.
Yes.
Writers are creators.
Yes.
Of course. So they have to create a whole life, create their own stage on the page. You know, so writers are just no, we are images of God, but some people are more images of God than some people.
So guys, if you just join us, this is live book readings at e-Ananse. We are live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We are here with Oswald Okaitei. We are looking at some poems in his collection of poems and short stories, COVID-19 verses and tragedy. So I have a comment from Jero. Oswald is right. We always had an opportunity to write love letters. Okay, so thanks for joining, George. Thanks for joining, Miss Ade. Awesome. Kobe, thank you for joining, guys. We are still live. So after COVID, as a writer, what is there for you? Like, what are you expecting to do with yourself? Because maybe after COVID, there'll be no obvious inspiration for you to pen down anything. So what is the agenda after COVID?
You know, I have 15 collections.
Okay.
And they have come in response to different stimuli.
Okay, yes, okay. This is just one of them.
One of them. Of course, if we finish this pandemic and then amidst the rays of the new sun, there will be, of course, it might not necessarily be bad.
Okay.
Maybe good. Maybe I may fall in love. Maybe I'll be getting ready to marry.
Hey.
And
with people like you, it wouldn't be difficult to get because you have words.
Words. Sometimes that's what you think.
Oh, really? Please tell me.
You know, but
it would be difficult to have the right
words. I've
words.
been testing you. You have not responded.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh wow! Put it in coded poetry.
So you see.
Yeah, put it in poetry for me. In fact, maybe you should perform.
A lot of people know we have different types of poets.
Right.
We have elegists, we have theologists, we have revolutionaries.
Yes.
So if you look, you can pick a work of maybe Awono, and you may not find so much of love.
Yeah.
Do you understand me? Because that is his style. I may not be so much of a love poet or something, because I am straightforward. I do not want to exaggerate.
Yeah.
I may use my metaphors as they are supposed to be,
right.
as my lethal weapons. But there are people who can exaggerate. You know,
yes.
The humanizers are very good. They can make you sometimes
they romanticize everything.
Sometimes they finish and you want to ask yourself if it is really you. They make you as if you are next to God, as if they make you. In fact, you become the metaphor. You know, you use simile a metaphor. Simile tries to compare, say like, but they make you the thing like the goddess of beauty, goddess of love.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, nice. But they can fake. But maybe if I should write such thing for you, it means I mean it. You know. Yeah.
Okay. So Nanaya says, so this is the COVID inspiration. Akonai, he says, okay, so he's giving a shout out to someone. Erifua, thanks for joining. Samuel Ni Otto, thanks for joining us. We are live at e-Ananse, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We are having a book reading session with Oswald Okaitei. Okay, so Mau Nyega, thanks for joining. Okay, Ni Otto is giving you a shout out. Also.
Okay, that's
Hi, Darcy. So at this point, the womanizers. This is really great. So someone is also, I think, agreeing with the womanizer bit. But I mean, what is even a woman? Okay, so you have a short story. What was the other piece you wanted to read on?
Well,
would you take it from the short story side?
Let's say the short story has got to do with stigma as well.
Okay, sure.
It's interesting and it's running the graphic show. It's going to end maybe next week or so. as a cereal. And this is a COVID-19 tragedy. So maybe we give some few alerts for people to try and find out the rest in the graphic show before getting your book.
Okay, all right.
So this is the COVID-19 tragedy.
Mm.
Ping! The horn of the taxi tooted as the driver sped into the community clinic. It was an emergency situation. Bogapinto Lee, who returned from Italy recently, about a week or so ago, was nearing his grave and needed medical intervention. Quickly, the nurses dashed out of the clinic's veranda towards the taxi to stretch into the emergency ward. But hey, they will not risk not dressing like white ninjas against the pandemic COVID-19. Of course, the disease is now the biggest scare in the country and the world at large, and no one would ever want to risk contracting it. Not just because of the death it comes with, but that all too soon, the stigma it leaves its victims and their families with surpasses that of HIV/AIDS. Besides, who would want to die of a disease that would not allow his or her funeral to be grand under the management of a culture hailing family? Who would not want a vigil for his or her corpse before burial? Who would not fear the disease that caused a lockdown which prevented Judas from selling Jesus out to the Roman soldiers, and alas, no Good Friday, no Holy Saturday, and no day of resurrection? In short, the pandemic that virtually called off even a whole Easter celebration.
Wow.
Yes, the COVID-19 is such a serious pandemic. Alas, even the frontline health workers, with all the promised goodies and heavens to handle patients of the disease, would dare not risk a bit catching it. It was in this vein that all the necessary protective measures were adhered to before Bogapinto Lee was stretched to the triage for the preliminary health investigations. At the triage, the first check was his temperature. The nurse pulled a gun thermometer and at a distance, while he laid on the stretcher, checked. Jesus! It was around 39 plus degrees Celsius. Hey, that is the range associated with the COVID-19. The nurse thought out loud, and then bam, her heart drove into her stomach and began beating abnormally. Her suspicion was fast becoming real. Her patient was a COVID-19 suspect. But wait, she had to be the professional promised 50% salary increment, and whose net salary would not attract any tax, just for the sole purpose of handling such a situation. Investors try their best never to make a fear visible to Bogapinto Lee and his friend about that. But something broke the camel's back and sent her shivering beyond what she could contain. Bogapinto Lee, besides a dry coughing, also had a runny nose and was struggling with breath. Akacha! Auntie Philo, the senior nurse on duty, didn't need to be a prophetess to know that Kolo was in the building. Alarmed by that suspicion, she led Bogapinto Lee at the triage and his walked into the nurse's changing room to alert her colleagues. Hey, you people, we have a suspected case of most feared COVID-19. Unconsciously leading them to join the festival of terrible fears. Unfortunately, the message could not be contained among the nurses. It found its way out and like wildfire in the savannah, spread across the length and breadth of the clinic, creating immeasurable panic and fear. And those scared of the situation, for their usual nature, always wanting to know everything, the nurses rushed, but of course in costume to look like astronauts, ready to travel to space, into the track just to be eyewitness of the situation. It took Abota to scream to stop the Concern Act and remind them of their next line of action. Alas, upon consultation with a physician on duty, Bogapinto Lee was kept in an isolation room, a small cubicle, and administered with the first aid to avoid the COVID-19 response teams, however. But that was the beginning of the tragedy.
I really like this. That was the beginning of the tragedy. I mean, even the nurses and the people are running away. Like, it's just, I can only imagine what the real patients of this virus are going through emotionally, not just the physical pain, but the emotional isolation, people fearing and running away from them. So now, of course, this was inspired by maybe the news that we are hearing all around. Or do you know someone personally?
Well,
do you know who is this Bogapinto? That's
the Bogapinto Lee, of course, that's to be able to associate. It's a name we use for one guy, Boga. just had to create a name, but I heard a story which is close to true. Someone had to go through such a situation. I eavesdropped. About that kind
Guys,
of thing.
if you want to find out how this went, purchase the graphic showbiz. What day is it? Like, what is it?
Let's say
Thursdays.
every Thursday.
Every Thursday. So this story will be featured in graphic showbiz every Thursday. If you want to know what happened to Boga Pintoli, or is that it?
Boga Pintoli.
Boga Pintoli.
Aboda
to Okaka. Yes, if you want to know what happens, find out in graphic showbiz written by yours truly, Oswald Okaitei. So if you just join us, we have about 10 minutes to go. Before that, let me give some shout outs. Those who just joined us on Instagram. George says he's enjoying it. Mawinyegan said, where can I get a book to buy?
The book will still be on Amazon and
okay.
e-Ananse also.
So of course, e-Ananse is going to have hard copies very soon, and then it's also going to be on Amazon if you want the soft copy. And George says 15 collection, awesome man. They're giving you congrats. True talk, no Easter celebration because of this virus. Yes, so this virus has proven to us that listen, yes. So what's health workers? You know, health workers have played a very vital role during this season. As a writer, what message are you trying to put across to them?
And for you and the many seen unseen.
That's what title is that?
For the frontline workers.
Good, for the front line, yeah, for the frontline workers. So you see, this is like a book of life. Like this has all the tea. This has all the tea. If you want advice for the Sigma, health workers, family, this is the book. So please, what do you have for the life? This is a nurses and doctors here. This is your prophecy, your revelation.
And for you and the many seen or unseen, whom are the sacrificial lambs. So we cross this dark veil of death.
Right.
For you and those who remain true to call to duty and must meet the dreaded beast so the world is saved. For you and others who may be at the battlefront fighting this centenary night and may not again return home. For you who must suffer because men chose not to be true to the wage war against a common foe. For you who must remain awake and be our host as altruistic fellows and lead this wage war against COVID-19. For you, I share this timeless poem. Aho, aho, yaya. Aho, aho, yaya. This centenary night shall not forever be. The new sun shall come after this night. And when it does, we shall hail your sacrifices and sing your praise songs. We shall remember you as the heroes who went to war with pure heart and saved life from the ravages of an army of viruses. Until then, we pray, stay safe and save life.
Wow. Someone wrote tears. Someone is crying. Someone says, really touching. Honestly, like, yes, I mean, it really got me there. Because we are at war. Whether we like it or not, we are at war, and the frontliners are our health workers.
Sure.
Day and night, sleepless nights, keeping people alive. Some of them may never. I've heard news where some people have lost their lives. Some nurses and some doctors have lost their lives in the process. So, Oswald says, keep safe and save lives. If you're a health worker and you are watching us, or if you know a health worker somewhere, I recommend this book for them. The poem entitled "The Frontline Workers." Frontline Workers by Oswald. This is the piece for you to encourage you, to motivate you to keep doing what you are doing and keep taking care of yourself. Some people just join us. Let me see. Yes, so they are the soldiers fighting this draconian called COVID-19. What's draconian? All health workers are doing an amazing job. Right up for them. Yes, good work done, bro. Dusty said, good work done. Yes, this is really commendable. Like, great job. And then I'm hoping that every Ghanaian gets to read the collection that we have here. It's very inspiring, very encouraging, motivating, keep us going. And so, apart from writing, what do you do?
Well, I'm a creative entrepreneur. I'm a spoken word artist, and I always say that poetry pays. And people have maybe sometime we have a conversation about why is a poetry piece. I'm a
Mm.
poet by profession. That's what I keep telling people. I'm a
Mm.
poet and spoken word artist by profession.
Mm.
So that's what I always want to tell everyone. Besides that, there are a lot of things I do in the back. Whether we are into publishing, we are into writing proposals, doing creative, a lot of creative things. And one thing I'm into play production.
Okay.
So we are doing the virtual theater series, which will be on YouTube for people to watch free so that you don't go out. And our first play is going to be the last Saturday in May, in the bag of a woman. It's going to be virtual theater series, something you're going to love. So I do quite a number of things, organizing events, Playhouse. My company Playhouse is into event organization, and so many other things.
So the younger ones out there, because I know some people are looking up to you and they would also want to, start putting out content there or build legacies, what should be their starting points? What advice do you have for them?
But what I've always told those around me, and I'll keep telling them, like, you see, to be a king, you need to work like a slave. You have to learn to survive in the heart of the desert. And when you're out of the desert, you never fear the scorch of the sun in the savannah, let alone the forest. You must always be ready to sacrifice. Like I've always said, you must always be ready to sacrifice. Chase after wealth before wealth. You need to get the wealth and then be chased after by wealth. And he who walks in the shadow of another is but a beautiful slave. He who walks in the shadow of another is but a beautiful slave. Carve your niche. Be inspired by what you see around. Whatever you want to challenge the status quo, people have problems with it. But go in there. It is because they don't understand it, they don't know. That's why they raise questions. But make sure you do try it and do it well. And then that becomes a new path people will do. So don't be discouraged. And in every misfortune, there's fortune. So it is in the falling you find rising. So don't say because it didn't go so well. Almost all of us here, all the beginners you see, have problems. Sometimes we go to show, we play, we feel it didn't go so well. Rather, we are inspired to try and correct that anomaly. So if someone says you are not good, there are a lot of things you have to hear, and there are a few things you need to listen to.
Hey, everything is poetic with you. Hey, Joe Small, this thing I'm telling you I'm giving you poems. Hey, wow, wow.
There are a lot of things you hear a lot of things, but you listen to some few. Yes, those that will really help you.
Yes, because there's a lot of noise out there, so much that you need to know, pick up, and I think like what you said, when you begin to know your worth, you'll be able to pick up what you need or the value that you need. Wow. So yeah, someone is repeating what you said. Lame, thanks for joining Akonai. Yes. He says, he who works by the shadow of another is a beautiful meat. Is that what you said?
But he who walks in the shadow of another is but a beautiful slave.
I don't know what he heard. I like it. Okay, George says, I like it. Every misfortune. Okay, in every misfortune, there's a fortune. Yes, they like that piece. This is really cool. This is really cool. Guys, if you just join us, this is e-Ananse live reading on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We are